All right, so you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, and you're looking to take away hard-earned boxes of the One Piece TCG from all the kids who are looking to get it just like myself. You are in the right place, my friend. We're going to be going through a tier list of all the different sets in the One Piece TCG. I'm going to give you the facts, the lay of the land. I've been watching One Piece. I've been into the One Piece, honestly, IP for over a decade. I have investing experience. I have One Piece experience. I probably know the One Piece TCG more than anyone on YouTube when it comes to investing in collectability. I will say that currently, right now, I think the space is so new. I'm not saying I'll always be the best, but I think for right now, I think I can provide a pretty valuable opinion for anyone who's looking to get into the One Piece TCG from an investment standpoint. Anyways, all right, so we're going to rank all the sets, like I said, D through S. Let's start it off with the Blue Bottom OP01. I'm going to be honest, this is straight up S tier. It's not even a question to me. This is the first set, and not only is it the first set, but this is basically the first edition of the first set. So if you don't know what the Blue Bottom is, the Blue Bottom has a bunch of cards that were later edited. Well, the text was edited, and because they edited the text, they made a distinguishing bottom color, so you can distinguish which box came in which wave. So if it's a blue bottom, that means it's wave 1 and it has cards before the text was edited. And if you have the white bottom, that means it is after the text was edited. So that is why the blue bottom commands a premium right now. And you can see the blue bottom is worth $1,139 and the white bottom is worth $378. But we're talking about investability right now, tier list right now. Still, S tier in my eyes. This is the first edition of the first set for the One Piece TCG, and if the One Piece TCG is as successful as I think it's going to be, and probably most of you, because you clicked on this video, you're going to want to have at least one of these. I have one of these in an acrylic case in the closet that I'm going to be sitting on for a very, very long time. I'm not going to talk about the whole set because we'll talk about that when we go to the white bottom just here in a sec. But yeah, like I said, Blue Bottom, that is where it's at. That's basically first edition. If you are a legit collector, you are 100% going to want a Blue Bottom. All right, we're going to move on to just the white bottom of the One Piece TCG. I'm not going to lie, it's still S tier. This is the first set of the TCG. So there's always going to be the collectability. There's always going to be people nostalgic for this set. Collectors are always going to want this set because it's the first one. And you can see that. It's already worth $378, which is more than every other box in the entire TCG right now. But if you look at the kind of top cards here, it comes with the Shanks manga, which is great. It's a cool-ass card, cool-ass character. It comes with the Zoro Alt-Art Leader, which is great. It has Luffy, really cool Zoro Alt-Art. It has some Boa Hancock cards. It has this Nami Alt-Art card right here. This set has all the characters that you'd want. It's the first set. You're 100% going to want this set, without a question. Without a question. All right, we're going to move on to Awakening of the New Era. And I'm not going to lie, another freaking S tier. This is another S tier. If you look here, this comes with the Gear 5 Monkey D. Luffy manga. It also comes with the Oda Siggy Monkey D. Luffy card. And it not only does it come with the one Monkey D. Luffy manga, but it also comes with the Law manga and the Eustace Captain Kidd manga. So there's 3 mangas. You could also get the Monkey D. Luffy with the Oda signature on it. The Oda signature card, I believe, is one of the most undervalued cards in the entire TCG. It's the only card signed by Oda, and it's only worth like $1,200 right now, which I think is an absolute steal. So I know we're not talking about specific cards right now, but I think if you're a collector, you're 100% going to want that one in your collection as well. But yeah, let's talk about this set. So like I said, 3 mangas, has the Oda Siggy. It has the Nami SP, which is great. It's already $200. Has some really, really cool SP cards here. So the characters, when you think about the characters, it has the Luffy's, it has the Nami's, which is great. Checks the character box. It checks the value box as well. This is an anniversary set. And what the One Piece TCG does with anniversary sets so far is they have multiple manga cards in it. So the top cards all are super valuable. So of course it's going to command a premium. You can see the box is worth $215, which I still think is a fair, I would actually say it's a good deal right now. I think Awakening of the New Era, like I said, everything that I say is based off my thinking that the One Piece TCG will be wildly successful in the future, a top 3, top 2 TCG. I don't think anyone will ever really take down Pokemon, to be honest, but I think One Piece, in my opinion, will take the second spot. Anyway, so yeah, if you look at all these cards, like I said, all the mangas, the Otasigi, which is the only Otasigi in the entire TCG, really cool SP cards, has all the characters that you're going to want, really, really great. It's an anniversary set, definitely S tier in my eyes. All right, next is Paramount War OP02. I'm going to put this in B tier. Okay, so why is this B tier? Let's take a look. So this comes with the Ace manga. It has some cool, I would say actually has some pretty cool artwork for the alt art leaders. I would say some of the best in my opinion. But if you take a look, I would say the characters are honestly not that good for the top cards. I mean, it has the Ace manga. Ace is a cool character, but I wouldn't say he's a top 5, top 10 character in the entire series in terms of popularity. So of course, you're not going to have the collectability in that. Where I do think there is a saving grace here is that this is the second set released in the One Piece TCG. So anything in the early days of a TCG is, of course, going to command a premium. So I think this, for that reason, is in B tier, even if maybe I don't think the manga character is the best or the characters are the best. I think some highlights here are the alt art leaders. They look really cool. And then this is the second set in the entire TCG. So that's why it gets a B tier in my eyes. Next, we are going to go to Pillars of Strength. And I would say this is, I'm going to say B tier. And we can go through this and why I think that. So I think the Soga King manga is probably one of the worst ones in the entire TCG. So it does not have a good manga, but it makes up for that in, I think, some really, really cool ways. So it has the Nami alt art leader. This is the first Nami alt art leader in the entire TCG, which is great for collectability for the Nami collectors. I think people are always going to gravitate towards this Nami card. The booster box is going for $200 right now. I think there are better deals right now, so that's why I'm also putting this in B tier. I think the alt art leader art styles here are really cool, and they have not replicated this in another set yet. And it also comes with the first Wanted posters. We'll take a look at the other ones when we get to OP09, but I think these Wanted posters are cool. They're cool. They do it better in the future, but these are the first Wanted posters that you can get. It has a Luffy Wanted poster, which is awesome. So, yeah, I think the highlights, like I said, really cool art styles and some cards. It has a Nami alt art leader. It has a Luffy Wanted poster. It has the first Wanted posters. It's still early in the TCG because this is the third set that was ever released, so that's why I am giving it the B tier. Okay, we're going to go to Kingdoms of Intrigue next. I'm going to put that in B tier. Let's go through why. So it comes with a Sabo manga. I would say weak manga. Weak manga again. Sabo is a cool character. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think he's in that top 10 character. You know, you're not going to have a bunch of Sabo collectors, in my opinion. But I think this has one of the coolest cards, in my opinion, in the entire TCG, which is the Boa Hancock SP. So Boa Hancock, in my opinion, is a top 4 character in the entire series, in the entire TCG for collectability. And this is the first Boa Hancock SP in the TCG. And not only that, but I think it's the best one, and it's not even close. I think you could probably tell why I think that, but it's very cool. I have this card in PSA 10, so I had to grab that one. I also think it has some really, really cool artwork for the SP cards, which is great. It has a Monkey D. Luffy alt art card here. Pretty cool. But the main reason why I'm giving it a B tier is the price right now. It's $150 per box right now, which I actually think is a decent deal. If it was in the $200 range, I would probably put it in C tier, to be honest. So the factors that are going towards my rating here are the booster box pricing compared to what I think it probably should be at, and the Boa Hancock card, as well as the SP cards in general, having a really cool art style that I like. All right, let's move on. Next, we're going to go to OP06. So I think this one is A tier, in my opinion. This is Wings of the Captain. So this has the Zoro manga. Zoro, in my eyes, is a top 3 card, top 3 character, top 3 character in the entire TCG in terms of popularity. People are going to be collecting Zoro cards. How do I know this? I am a Zoro collector myself. Zoro is actually the reason I got into the TCG. It's just one of the coolest characters in the anime. If you don't watch the anime, you know nothing about the anime. I would, honestly, I would consider Zoro the Charizard of Pokemon, if that makes any sense. He's really badass. I think he probably has the biggest cult classic fan base, in my opinion. So I think there's going to be a lot of collectability with Zoro cards. So that's obviously going to make the Wings of the Captain have some kind of premium because it has characters that people really want. But yeah, let's take a look here. It has a really cool manga. You can see people really like it because the lowest listing right now is about $900. The SP cards, it has Rebecca, it has Charlotte Linlin, Miss All Sunday. So the SP cards are great. Really, really cool art style on these. I really like these. It has the Zoro Altar SEC right here. Really cool Altar leaders. It has this Buggy SP, which I think is probably one of my favorite cards in the entire TCG. This is really cool, even though I don't think Buggy is too crazy of a character in the show. Nothing like that, but I think the card is really cool. So let's backtrack, and I'll kind of summarize why I think this set is really cool. I think the price is pretty low compared to what I think it could be in the future. Because Zoro is a top 3 character in my eyes, I think he's going to be the Charizard of the One Piece world. So I think there's going to be a lot of collectability here. Has really cool SP cards. Like I said, the price is great. It has the Nami Treasure Rare down here, which is about $35. The top cards, they range from $900 to $140 to $100, 90, 84. Great pricing in the top cards, which is great. Great characters, great price. Phenomenal set. Really like this set. All right, let's move on to EBO2. I'm going to have a spicy ass opinion right now. Some people might not like it. A lot of people put this set in S tier, A tier, because this is EBO1. This is extra booster. This is technically a collection set, but I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm putting it in this position. I'm going to put it in C tier. Why? I'm sure some of you might be screaming, what the hell are you doing? All right, let me give my reasoning. My reasoning, number one, the price has already skyrocketed in my eyes. But it's also the reason this box has skyrocketed. So it's currently sitting at $332. Comes with the Tony Chopper manga, which is great. I actually really like Tony Chopper. I would say he's definitely a top 10 character in the series for collectability. A lot of people just really like how cute he is. I think there's going to be a lot of Tony Chopper collectors. So let's get that out of the way. I like the manga card. I think it's great. But the price is really high. It's already had its run up, in my opinion. And that's based off of playing the game. The people who are buying this set, and the reason it's so high right now is because I had such a limited print run and the cards were really, really, really good for playing the game. You saw cards skyrocket. SR cards, super rare cards, would just skyrocket to the moon because everyone needed them. So, and this set was already limited availability. So a lot of these prices on these cards are based off of the fact that they are playable. If any of these cards ever got reprinted, which I think they are, in Premium Booster number 2, which is coming later this year, I think a lot of these cards are going to lose a lot of its value. So I do not think this has the collectability that I've been seeing in these other YouTube videos. So I'm going to have a different opinion here. In terms of characters, it doesn't do it for me. Tony Chopper is great. It's not Luffy. It's not Nami. It's not Zoro. It's not Boa Hancock. It has Chopper, which is cool, but nothing really else here. I think this is overpriced because of the people who are actually playing the game and how limited the print run was. But that's really it. If this sees any reprints in PRB, I think this kind of takes a hit. So yeah. All right. Next, we're going to talk about 500 years into the future. I'm going to give this, I think a lot of people would probably just off the rip give this C or D, but I'm going to put this in B tier. Let's talk about it. So I think 500 years in the future is actually super underrated for a few reasons here. And hopefully, if you get anything from this video, it's to take a look at this set because you'll see what are the 4 characters that I said just a minute ago. Boa Hancock, Nami, Luffy, and Zoro. This has a Boa Hancock manga card. It has one of the best Nami cards in the TCG, which is this Nami SP. So it has, right off the bat, 2 characters, really high cards. So there's going to be a lot of collectability with these 2 cards in particular because of the characters that they have, which is great. But if you look, the price of a booster box is $111 right now. This is the lowest price we've seen yet. And that's because we're getting into the modern sets a little bit. And I think this set was printed a lot. But yeah, this set is super underrated in my opinion. It has the Boa Hancock Altar Leader, the Boa manga, the Onami SP. It has really cool SP cards in general. It has the Monkey D. Luffy Altar. Really, really, really cool cards. Has this Boa Hancock Altar right here. Great cards, great affordability, great characters. But I would say the main reason that this gets a high rating for me is how undervalued it is compared to the characters and cards that are in the set. So that's why it gets the B tier for me. All right, OP08, dog ass, terrible. Honestly, probably, no, I'm not even going to say probably. It's the worst set in the series for me. It has the Silver's Rally manga, which is unquestionably probably the worst manga in the entire TCG. I mean, he's a cool character, just nobody gives a shit about Silver's Rally, I'll be honest. The SP cards are actually pretty cool. I really like this Ace one, which is awesome. The SP cards are cool, just characters that people really don't give two craps about in terms of collectability. It has the Monkey D. Luffy Treasure Rare, which I think is its probably only saving grace. Has a Nami Altart, Chopper, Altart Leader, but other than that, honestly, the set sucks. The price is good. It's $91, so I would say it's pretty safe to get. You know, it's one of those safe things. I would consider this maybe like buying like Apple or something in the stock market or something like that. Because I don't think it goes any lower. But I don't think this is going to be that set that everyone gets or everyone goes back to and opens or anything like that. I think this set sucks in terms of characters, cards, everything. So that is why I am giving it a D rating. Okay, we are going to PRB 01. Amazing. This set changed the game. A lot of people did not have this on their most anticipated sets list. I honestly, me included, I was excited for it, but not as excited as I probably should be for a couple reasons. So this is the first set that had a God pack, so you could get all the mangas in one pack if you got really, really lucky. This introduced the first Nami manga, which is great. And this introduced Gold Dawn cards, which changes the entire... Oh my god, it's amazing. Dawn cards are really, really important. If you take anything else from this video, it's Dawn cards are super important to collectability of anything because they will never, ever be in the block list. They will never get banned or anything like that. They're just Dawn cards that players use, and they need 10 of them. Not only do they need 10 of them, but usually players will have 10 of the same Dawn. So if there's a really cool Dawn, a player will want like 10, and they'll be able to use it forever. So I think Dawn cards are going to be great, great, great collector cards, not only for us collectors or investors, but also the players themselves. So when everyone wants a card, I think that is surefire. I think there's going to be a lot of people who want it, and the price is obviously going to go up because there's going to be a lot of demand. And you can see that in the price. This is a fairly modern set, and this is already $270. Now, granted, this is a premium booster set, and it had a limited print run compared to the main sets, but regardless, this has great cards. It has Gold Dawns. It has a God pack. Introduced the Nami manga. And not only that, it has a lot of alt-art cards for different cards because this is a reprint set. So this reprinted certain cards from earlier sets, but gave it a different art on the card. And so there's a bunch of alt-arts for cards that people really want. And it was really hard to get specific alt-arts for specific cards because there's like 50 alt-arts in this set. So the chances of you getting the card you want was astronomically low, which means that there's low population for basically all the cards in this set. So this set, all in all, it's a phenomenal set in terms of collectability for a multitude of reasons that I've already mentioned. A lot of value here in the top, in the first page. Gold Dawn cards, great manga, a lot of alt-arts that people want, and it had a low print run. So this was great. That's why I'm putting it in the S tier. Even at this price, I still think it's a great, great set. All right. OP09 is next. S tier. S tier. Not even a question to me. This was the second anniversary set. This introduced the Goldie Roger Gold manga. So first Gold manga. It also, because it's an anniversary set, it had multiple mangas. So it had Luffy, Teach, Shanks, and Buggy. The SP cards are absolutely brolic. So it had SP Nami, SP Boa Hancock, SP Zoro Juro, and then it had wanted posters. So like I said in the beginning of the video with, I think it was OP3, had the wanted posters. I think they made them way better. I like the style a lot better. It looks I think it looks less cheesy. I think this just looks better. So it has another Luffy wanted poster, and this is him in his Gear 5 state, which is iconic transformation. It has Shanks, Blackbeard, and Buggy. And then, of course, it has the other SP cards, Rablucci and Rosinante. But another thing that I keep harping on is the characters of a set. I keep saying Luffy, Boa Hancock, Nami, and Zoro. What does it have? Monkey D. Luffy manga, Nami SP, Boa Hancock SP, Zoro SP. Absolutely phenomenal characters in the set. Literally the best you could possibly do for characters in a set. It's not even a question. The price of a booster box is $175, and this is modern. This is a modern set. So I think the price is a little, honestly, it might be a little high. They're probably going to reprint this set, and the price might come down, but I think the demand for this set is going to overshadow the supply. So I think this set won't have any problem at all, appreciating in value over time. Not a question in my mind about that. So I think this is a great set to pick up if you're interested in collecting. One thing I do want to say is if you are collecting, I would go for cases. If you don't know, boxes and cases are super easy to map out. So you could buy a box online and there's sellers who will just sell a dead box, meaning that it's guaranteed 2 hits. You're not going to get an alt art leader. You're not going to get an SP. You're not going to get a manga. And you don't want that. So I think in the future, there's going to be case premiums because there's going to be none of that bullshit, basically. So anyways, that's just a little side tangent on that one to grab actual cases instead of loose boxes. If you trust someone, then go for the loose boxes. But I am definitely prioritizing cases over boxes. All right, Royal Blood, dog shit, absolutely ass. I think this set sucks. This does introduce a couple cool things like the Divine Departure Parallel, which is a manga event card, which is the first of its kind, which is awesome. I think the SP cards are pretty cool, I would say. It has a second Law manga, which is I don't really care. And I think the characters in the set are just not good. We don't have Luffy. We don't have Nami. We don't have Boa Hancock. We don't have Zoro. So we don't check the character card. We don't check the great manga card. The price is $117, but I would put this on par with OP08, which is about $91 right now. So I don't even think it's a good price. So yeah, I think this set is absolutely dog ass. Not gonna lie. But yeah, that is me ranking all of the different sets. If I had to start my investing journey over, I would literally only focus on OP01, 05, 09. That's the first set ever. Those are the anniversary sets. I think PRB01 is a little expensive, but I think the cards it introduces are phenomenal. The God Pack chance is great. I do have OP06 at A tier. I have OP02, 3, 4, and 7 in B tier. I have EB01 in C tier, which I'm sure people will not agree with me on. And then I have 08 and 10 in D tier. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I would appreciate you subscribing, liking, commenting, telling me that I'm terrible, telling me my opinions suck. But if you enjoyed, if you think my opinions are cool or anything like that, I would appreciate if you subscribed and, hang out. I'm going to keep doing videos. A video I want to do is what you should be collecting in the One Piece TCG next. I think Bandai, with the recent changes in the block system, I think they are telling us what to collect, and I have a pretty good idea of what we should be collecting now. So if you are interested in that video, let me know in the comments down below. And that's going to be it for me. All right, this has been Dom Peace. See you guys.